What's going on, guys? We are back. Okay, we can't say back. I always say back. We're not really back because this is a new thing. It's a brand new game because Ross, our Greenwich Colonies GM, is presently in the Caribbean on a cruise doing better than all of us this holiday season. And so we're going to run us a little mini game in the Pathfinder playtest, a special one where everyone is playing a rogue. The sneak attack is real. As always, Josh, Jason, in addition to thank you guys for your patronage, to be straight up with you guys and to everyone watching, I legitimately would have had this apartment to myself and not seen any human being, had any human interaction, period, this Christmas Day if it wasn't for you guys finding the time to throw dice with me. And sometimes I forget I'm a people, but I'm a people, and truly, I really appreciate it. For seriously, not even in Tommy's YouTuber voice, in Tommy as a human voice. But speaking of Tommy, Tommy's not GMing today. Tommy's playing the Rogue Monk. He's been shouting at you forever and ever and ever. And by the time this goes live on YouTube, its optimization video will as well. So I am going to shut my mouth. Jason, you have the con.
Okay, welcome to A Simple Job. One of the things I want to do with this is start by saying the scenes. So, Josh, if you would start, tell us a little bit about your character.
Well, my name is Dave, or Dale Neverknow, and I'm a black market dealer. I've dealt in a lot of things: weapons, armor, that little basket for your little girl on her birthday, all kinds of things. And I went for a big job a couple of moons ago, and didn't turn out so good for me. So ever since then, I've been on the run, and I've been on a horseback, and I've been on my feet, and I've been on anything possible to get away from people that want me dead or alive for how much I owe for the job going south. And now I'm on a boat, and I'm heading to Ustalav, and I just got there. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I know one thing is no matter what happens, I'm going to survive.
Fair enough. Tommy.
I also, for one, am loving the Resident Evil merchant voice very badly. If I ever GM for this, there will be a recurring you die at the end of every session because someone gets mad at you and you mysteriously appear at the next one. Tommy is taking a little inspiration from his Doomsday Dawn players on this one. If you guys have been watching Doomsday Dawn, you know that Anthony, when he shows up, every single solitary last one of his characters has been named after a MTG legend. And his monk, was named after one of the Dragon Lords of the Plane of Tarkir, Ojutai. So today I will be playing, to steal his thunder because it was a good idea, Silumgar the Drifting Death. Silumgar is a human rogue archetyped into monk because that build is just bonkers, and he is a lower middle-aged Vudrani man who has been raised from birth at the House of the Second Breath, which is a monastery dedicated to the Rixasha immortal Aksha, who I hope that someday will get more lore and things, because I think the Rixasha are really sweet. Also, I'm learning that every Rixasha immortal pretty much uses the kukri as a favored weapon, so woohoo! Anywho, in any case, Silumgar has been trained as an assassin. Again, basically from birth, I will be flavoring all of my attack rolls as Mortal Kombat 10 X-rays, basically. Walk up, snap your neck, that kind of thing. And Caliphas, the capital of Ustalav, is not a bad place to start. Or rather, not a bad place for the character to be, given how evil most things in Ustalav are, so Silumgar can kind of just fade into nothing in such a way that he's not going to be pinged real fast by the paladins and that kind of thing. He's probably a long way from home because, again, he's Vudrani. He's from the next continent over. So if he's here, he would, I imagine, something along the lines of a contract or just furthering his training somewhere where there may be less consequences back home.
Okay. Well, to help both of y'all further along, Dale, your most recent foray into the world of special merchandise was smuggling various religious texts into Rasmuran, which did not work out quite as well as you had figured, which led to a short swim across a large river and a series of boating adventures from Ilmarsh to Thrushmore, down around the sides of Avalon Bay, and to Califest, which, let's be honest, it really is your sort of city. Lots of people want lots of things and don't really care where they come from. Tommy, your character, whose name I've already forgotten.
I think I was muted. It is. I have done the cardinal sin, and I've chosen a character name that is very hard to pronounce. I'll put it in Roll20 chat how to pronounce it. It's been the same with Ross. It's been the same with you. I just can't not get around it. Silumgar. If it'll go. There we go. Okay, yep. I wouldn't scroll down. There you go.
I got it. And Silumgar, you are coming to KFS after a business venture, which you completed in the capital city of Lastwall, Vigil.
I did not realize I was so daring.
Needless.
To Paladin Town.
Well, there have been some stirrings in Lastwall, and there are other things going on. So, someone wanted a very distinct message sent. So, of course, paladins don't always care if bad people kill bad people. It's just when bad people kill good people that they get really, really ticked off.
That's fair.
So, yes, from that point, you found your way over the mountains, coming far, far closer to the gallows spire than you decided you want. And then further down, caught a boat ride, and now you're in Caiaphas, waiting for a couple of moons, see how long it takes people to, stop associating Vudrani with, sudden murders in a large city, which luckily, it being Caiaphas, really wouldn't be noticed that much. So, here we are, all of us. Sorry. What would you be doing in your month of rest and recuperation?
Well, the first thing I'd be doing is making sure nobody's following me that I owe money to, specifically off these bad deals. But more than that, I'm going to be trying to dig up some new contacts and some new people to buy and sell from, so that way I can make up enough money to pay these people off and I can go back to my usual business.
That sounds very good. And I will throw up an icon or a picture up on the screen. And one day, as you're down at the docks, you recognize someone from a few years ago. You two left on good terms. You were part of a business venture together. Sammy. It stands for something vaguely unpronounceable, but everyone calls him Sammy, and he also is known for his marketing in specialized goods. However, his specialty happens to be recreational pharmaceuticals and poisons. You know, he recognizes you, comes on over. Are you going to want to talk to him, or are you going to avoid him like the plague?
Oh, absolutely. I want to talk to him, especially if he's still friendly towards me.
Okay. He points you to a local tavern. Y'all sit down. And he says, Dale, it's been quite a while since I've seen you, lad.
Yeah, I've been on the run. There's a couple things I was doing that went south, and I've had to get out of those areas in a hurry.
Yeah, I may have heard a wee bit about that. Don't worry, it's for you isn't enough. Besides, if people are looking for you, they're not looking for me. You know how it is in our business. But what brings you to my fine city here?
Your city, huh? So you got your feet in this place pretty good. I take it.
I have some friends here and there, but it's always more a matter of pre-established business relationships. Isn't that what they call it these days?
Yeah, I'm lacking those right now, it turns out.
Well, that being said, tell you what, friend, I still owe you slightly for your help back in Absalom 2 years ago, if you remember.
I do.
Not everyone has a good way to convince someone that they actually need a longer rope to hang someone my size, which, by the way, was good. Thank you for the distraction, and I hope you got a good price on it. But if you run into any good opportunities, look me up. I'll be around the docks, and I'll give you the good friends discount.
Well, speaking of that, I'm currently hauling a bunch of religious trinkets. Know anybody that might be interested in buying?
Huh. Religious trinkets. You wouldn't happen to have been in, say, Rasmaran recently?
Oh, I believe I was.
Yes. I wouldn't say that to anyone else too loudly.
Oh, I know better. I know better.
I know. It's just that the laughter would make it kind of hard for some things. You know what? Next time you come by the docks, go to the last warehouse on the end of the third pier, and there's a gentleman there. He's an old human named Merlin. Everyone calls him Merle. It's one of those things, but he might know a buyer. I can't promise you a real good price, though.
Well,
But
any price is better than free, considering how I got them.
that is true. That is true, my friend. Well, I will see you later. Well, people to go see, things to do. And today, at least, no one whose body I need to dump in a empty ditch somewhere.
Well, friend, let me at least cover your drinks. It's
I
a
think
show of good faith.
that'd be a marvelous gesture. Thank you very much. And with that, he leaves the deal. And it looks like you've made at least reestablished one contact to start with your network. Speaking of the religious items, about how much did you think you would have? Would it be, I figure since you were running, it wouldn't be significant. Maybe, a large, of course, I think of a large duffel bag full.
Yeah, I pretty much took one of all of them, at least. Hopefully the gods are too busy with other things to notice or give a damn.
You're just helping spread religion in a godless land of
I'm spreading a good
Miranda,
faith, all right. It should be noted, though, that Norgorber is my personal god of choice, so I might have a few more of his things than others.
I will keep that in mind for the rest of the telling. Okay. And now we come back to Silumgar.
You did it. I'm going to give Ross so much crap in 2 weeks.
Amazing what a razor sharp wit and the ability to look at a computer monitor off screen can do for you.
You hear that, kids? Use your eyes and your brain. Whee!
You've been puttering about, just doing the routines of daily life. Anything other than just that you've been doing recently?
Well, Silumgar will probably, once I get to Califest, knowing that there's been a bunch of stuff go down that may or may not have been my fault, I think my first move would be to just lay low, fade in. I don't have any, disguise kits or anything, but just kind of just seem like one of the mob here in Califest. Silumgar doesn't really carry anything super fancy. He just fights with his hands, so it's not hard to just grab some simple peasant clothes, throw a hood over top to disguise the Vudrani heritage, subsisting on just bread and water and staying somewhere where no one will ask any questions.
Now, are you going to walk about the city at all?
Yeah.
Okay, as you're wandering about, getting the lay of the land, you notice that in one section of the city, there seems to be more Vudrani than others, as in you're finding Vudrani. Is this something of interest to you?
Yeah, I will definitely go investigate.
And of course I don't have that map. Dug on it. In one of the westernmost districts, in a small slum, there's almost a small Vudrani enclave. Looks to be 60, 70 people, both, appears to be 4 or 5 families, followed by, various people. And there's even an inn as you walk by that is serving food that smells like home. So, smells like good Vudrani cooking. Is that something you would be interested in?
Yeah. Silumgar subsists basically on bread and water, but the stuff they make back home is certainly better than the slop that Vistani eat. So, yeah, by all means.
You go in, and it's very clean. Uh, you see a small shrine to Idori, and the it appears to be a family-run establishment. Shocking. And the gentleman behind the bar greets you. He takes one look at you and then greets you again in Vudrani.
And I did fill out my character sheet properly and can speak it. So I'll just walk up to him and Vudrani just, oh, yes! I'm so glad to see fellow Vudrani here so far from home. Oh, I've had to subsist on what the people here eat for weeks. Barbarism! Please, please, naan and water.
That is very much within our abilities to provide you. It is good to see a new face among our community. Come.
I will certainly follow.
Vudrani girl peeks her head out, says, yes. He passes your order to her, and she disappears back behind a hanging bead curtain into what is obviously the kitchen.
Okay.
Yes. Naan and water. Is there anything else I could get for you? We have a al curry. We have a few other dishes that we could make quickly, but if there's something you are wanting from home, we should be able to do it.
Oh, no, please.
It's very hard.
My strict diet helps me become closer with the Master of Masters. You understand. Pointing at the little shrine to Rory.
Ah, yes. We all walk our own paths of enlightenment. Well, what brings you to this ever so not like home place, my good friend?
Well, I'm on my way to... I've hung because I'm lying and I'm coming up. I can't lie on my feet as fast as this character can. I'm on my way to Magnimar, in Varizia.
Okay.
Travel through here, see what I can see, and despite the barbarism, this is the path that Irori has laid before me.
Please roll me a bluff check.
I thought you might say that. Alrighty, here we go. Okay, so it is worth noting that through the cunning use of the rogue having the most skills in this playtest and taking, with all my way too many rogue talents, taking skill training a bunch, I am at least trained in every skill in the game, which is nice. So deception is +7. Please be 10 over. I started off with a 16. Not bad.
He kind of cocks his head slightly.
Okay.
And puts his hands up and says, I understand, my friend. Are you staying in our part of town? Do you have lodging arranged?
I certainly could.
Oh, well, we definitely have rooms. We have a small room dependent on your practice of following the Master of Masters teaching. I could offer you anything from something fairly homey to something a little more monastic.
Oh, just a place for my cot is fine. Just a place to lay my head.
That is very much, and because you are one of us, I will give you a good deal. And I don't have the number in front of me, but basically he knocks a copper off of the standard night rate.
Okay. Silumgar will go into his bag and he will pull out an entire gold and set it on like something between he and I and just here. Take this, please. Keep the change. Just keep the non coming. Give me a place to lay my head at night. That is all I ask.
We very much will do that. We welcome you. Uh, I will have my daughter show you where you can keep your possessions and such as you need. And if there's anything you need to know about our city, let me know. I have friends who know many of the people in this city. Do you plan on staying here or moving on soon?
Oh, I imagine I should be here for a time. After that, I'm not entirely sure when I'll be leaving. I've fallen full into Mirrodin now. And you can watch that normally on Tuesdays here at Greenwich Colonies. I'm not entirely sure when I'll be leaving. A few days at
Well,
least.
well, this will certainly cover that. Uh, Again, if there is that which we can do to help, please let us know. And with that, he claps his hands again and calls his daughter out. And she leads, if you follow her, she leads you upstairs to a small room. It's bare walls, small, very small window, high set in a rock wall, simple cot, single table with a candle on it. It's definitely not. It's clean. It's well built. Once you put the bar down on the door, you're pretty certain that you are secure. Without, no one's going to sneak in to get you.
Okay, works for me.
And and it's pretty much a good thing. So
Okay, so
between
really,
that,
really quickly, I would like to. We don't have sense motive in this here playtest, but here is in place of it. It's a perception check. It's a 14. I'm using it as sense motive. I want to know if the man who owns the place has any inclination of like maybe I wasn't telling the truth, if he's any kind of suspicious at all.
uh, a 14, you would get the idea that he probably does not, from his reaction, he didn't truly buy your story at face value, but he also really didn't appear to care that much.
Okay, works for
It
me.
was there, it wasn't obvious that you had oh, I look like I'm fleeing mass murder from a nearby national capital. It's more like, yes, of course. Okay. Sure. You're on the way to meet the queen. Gotcha.
Okay, fair enough. Works for me. Okay, in that case, Sealingar will just once he's
So,
sure he has privacy, locking the door and stuff, just
yeah.
go to knees and until after food is done, until it's time for bed, just mantras to Aksha, practicing. I'm going to call it Rick Sasha style, but it's wolf style, the monk fighting style I've chosen to do way too much damage with sneak attack. Just practicing the forms.
That works. So between the two of you, uh, another week and a half goes by. Everything seems to be moving fairly smoothly. Uh, Dale, you managed to sell your small collection of religious artifacts, books, a few holy symbols for Oh, there we go. 54 gold. Now,
Wow.
some of these were silver, some of them. So you were fairly lucky. And also seeing how some of them were for non-standard deities, you got a little extra for the small statue of Rovagug, which evidently is, when Merle looked at it, his eyebrows kind of disappeared into what is left of his thinning white hair. He looked at you very strongly and said, "I know someone who would like this. I do not want to meet them."
No, it's safer not to meet the people that buy your stuff if you have a middleman like yourself involved. Just better to deal with the middleman.
Well, that's a really good idea because I'm just dealing with the middleman. And he scares me senseless. So, do you have any, between all of that, are you looking to do any more business, or are you more or less chilling?
Well, I'm not really interested in pissing off the religious institutions in this city immediately. So I won't deal in any more religious trinkets for now, but I'll just chill out. And if there's any opportunities, if there's any little birdies that whisper in my ear, well, I might go follow them.
Okay. Y'all both have now been in the city for 3 weeks. And things have, just gone pretty easy. Are either of you going to try to practice your trade more openly? I don't know if either of y'all have a craft or a profession skill that you would want to try to use to make money the ordinary way.
I do not.
Or if you're more of a holiday.
Sealimgar will do his standard, like, morning meditation in kata, before bed meditation in kata. Other than that, just I will spend my week when I'm not at the restaurant. I just want to put my ear to the ground in Caliphus. I want to see what's going on, who's who. In a way, Sealimgar might also probably be awaiting orders as well, considering he is a member of the House of the Second Breath. At the moment, it's all, we've done this thing, we've fallen back now. Next, they will let us know. I will also certainly be as cordial as necessary, but also making it seem like a big important, "Oh, I'm so happy to talk to you," with the family that owns the restaurant.
Yeah. Well, the family recognize a ascetic lifestyle. Understand that your focus is normally on inner perfection instead of outward perfection. So you are more focused on maintaining your patterns instead of looking to be gregarious. So it comes one night comes, and Dale, you are at a tavern, as you often are. and you've had something to eat, and some dock workers finding out that there's a ship coming in, that there's an ever so great chance that there will be a few crates that accidentally fall off of the side of the boat into a smaller boat as it's being offloaded, being delivered to the dockside, as is the normal method of unloading a boat. But after you talk to them, you're not feeling so good. Can you give me a fort save?
So to make those rolls in Roll20, Josh, what you do is type /R and then space and then the dice plus the mod. Oh, cool. You did it. Nice.
Yeah, I've already practiced a couple times. I got
you
it.
did. That's right. Fair enough. Well, sorry for mothering.
Cool. That's okay. I will probably be doing the same myself here.
And actually, really quickly, Josh added 2. You are trained in your fortitude save as a rogue, so you should. Do you have 14 con?
No, just 12.
Okay, so then you add your entire level as a proficiency bonus. So you would add 4 more onto that, and it would be a 19 for a total of +6 on your fort save.
Yeah, you're feeling okay, but you're starting to feel like maybe you want to go ahead and call it a night. Maybe something you ate just wasn't quite right. Beer hit you a little too hard. Just you're feeling a little bit off. So
I don't feel at all like somebody might have tried something, do I?
Give me a perception roll.
And then bearing in mind that that's 4 higher than it is, it's 16.
You did recall seeing anything that made you think your food or drink had been tampered with. You can say for certain that the other guys at the table did not touch what you were eating or drinking.
Well, in that case, yeah, I'm gonna take a rest and just figure I'm seasick, or whatever that is, and whatever jet lag is in relation to ships. I figure I got it.
Yeah. A little too much fish, a little too much wharf air with that marvelous pre-industrial mix of dead fish, rotting garbage, and everything else that makes dockside smell so interesting.
Delicious.
So you wander back to you put your head down on the pillow. Would you bother to get undressed first? Or if you're
I would my usual habits are to get undressed but keep my keep clothes on, take off chainmail and that such. And I would spend about 10 minutes saying prayers to Norgorber and showing my respects. I haven't yet went and looked to see if Norgorber's got some followers or a place of worship in this town, but that is definitely on my mind. And I spend about 10 minutes saying my prayers to Norgorber, and then I will definitely rest.
Yeah. As you continue with your prayers, you wonder whether tomorrow when you wake up, you're going to have a little bit of traveler's revenge. Your stomach is just starting not to feel real good. So maybe your immune system is finally to the point where it's going to take issue to all the new wonderful things in the water here. So with that, you go to sleep, and Silumgar, you too. In the night, you hear. Well, roll me a. Do you have anything that would detect magic?
I do not.
Okay. Roll me a perception check.
Alrighty, boom. That's 20.
Nice.
We did it.
Okay. In the night, you hear a mild sound of wood moving against metal, and you realize that that's the sound of the bar being lifted out of its holder that secures your door.
Okay. Is there anywhere in the room for me to hide?
Maybe under the bed, but the bed itself is about 3 foot off the floor because the space underneath it is intended to be used for storage.
Yeah, fair enough.
This is pretty much stone wall, stone floor, maybe a foot square window set 7 foot off the floor, and a thatch roof. So there just is not much place to hide in here.
Okay. In that case,
So
Silumgar will... I'm going to still make a stealth check because I want to try to get out of bed real quiet like. Here goes that expert proficiency in stealth for a 21, and I will just calmly stand up, get to the floor, adopt the stance of the second breath, mechanically go into wolf style, and just wait.
Okay. Well, first off, congratulations, because I did not think you were going to
crit real quick.
To crit. I figured I had to at least give you a chance.
Yes, I got a chance.
Okay. Weird. Okay. Give me a reflex. A will save.
Will save, alrighty. I am expert in those. And my bracers of armor buff them even further. So plus 9, 23.
You almost made it.
Ah! Curse you, DC 25!
Literally, DC 25.
Ah, fair enough.
The room around you begins to sway and begins to turn and curve. And the lights darken, lest you remember.
So close to having a one-on-one encounter. Ah well. Good. I have passed out now. Back to bed.
So now, my good friends, things slowly come back into focus. Both of you kind of stir on the way, and you notice that you see this. You both at various times open your eyes briefly, but you're kind of groggy, not there, and suddenly you you find your way up to the building on the screen.
Okay.
Significantly, the highest place in town. But you really don't spend all that much time conscious. This is very much almost like a scene out of a dream.
Okay.
But when you truly come awake, you'll find yourselves, both of you, are kneeling on a carpet with chains securing your legs, your arms. You're not quite completely wrapped up in chains, but close. And you feel something around your neck. It kind of feels cool. It's not tight. It's not restricting your ability to breathe or anything like that, but it's clear there's something around your neck, and while it's cool to the touch, it's not cold. So if it was metal, it means it's been there long enough to warm up. In front of you, you see the individual in the middle, where the small flight of stairs you see actually leads to a large throne. It may not have all the trappings of like an imperial throne, but it is clearly a throne. And this gentleman is clearly in charge from his bearing and demeanor. This gentleman is a gnome. He has spectacles with multiple lenses that pull down. You see different colors of glass in various lenses. Some are even mirrored in strange metallic finishes. And while he's sitting there, he's playing, if that can be called, he's manipulating a small device in his hand, which occasionally appears to reach out a small mechanical arm and try to bat his fingers away. And the gentleman closest to you, oh, I'm sorry, I did forget. There is a very large individual behind the two of you. The most you see of him is the butt of his great axe is sitting on the floor in between you two.
Okay.
And that gentleman right there, well, first off, the thing you can tell about him is as he is standing there, yes, it's nighttime and there are torches lighting the inside of this room rather nicely, but he appears to almost glow with a slightly unearthly light. Can either of y'all give me a knowledge arcana check?
I certainly can.
Uh,
It's one of my worst.
society, or society or nobility would also work.
So I've got a 23 from Society and a 24 from Arcana.
Okay. One of the symbols on his robe that seems to occasionally flicker with green flame behind it, even though it's part of the cloth, indicates that he is an archmage. The guy practically is glowing with arcane power. So mechanically, best way I can put it is he's just a step shy of mythic level.
He could snap his fingers and we would all cease to exist.
Possibly.
Okay.
Either that or he is faking it very well. The other symbols on his garments seem to indicate that he is the headmaster of the wizards school that exists in the nation's capital here. So he very much appears to be a very, very powerful mage. Do either of y'all speak first?
I think
What would you do as you're waking up?
for my first trick, I'm going to make a perception check and see if there's, not that I'm, let's immediately start chaos. I'm not lawful evil. I'm going to make a quick perception check. It comes down to an 18. Is there any way at all I could break my chains, squeeze out, otherwise cause myself to be a little more free?
Okay. So you kind of want to test your bonds a little bit, see if there's any give or...
Yeah, something like that. Or see if I can like get my, because I have a deception, or not deception, but a thievery at trained as well, because I got all the skills trained. So like if my hands are close enough, I can pop something out, that kind of thing.
I'm going to do a perception check as well for the same thing.
When you have a party of all rogues. Nice. So if that's 10 over the DC, that's a critical success.
That is a critical success. So, Silumgar, no, there is not enough. You're lucky whoever put these chains on did not put them on a little tighter. They're just shy of uncomfortable. It wouldn't take much more for them to be damaging. And this is not, normal concepts we understand now. This isn't your normal buy at Lowe's used to hang a lamp chain. This is, it appears to be anchor chain from one of the ships in the harbor.
Oh my. Okay. Well,
so,
we're in trouble.
hint is that you are not going to get away.
Mm-hmm.
Dale, as you wiggle and slip, you get one hand. Sorry, and your hands are in manacles, as well as you being chained down. Well, you start to be able to get enough wiggle room, and as your hand's about halfway in the cuff is to about here, the axe lifts off the floor in between you, and you hear a single word. Do you bother to look back? You can move your head. Are you going to look back to see what produced this sound?
Silumgar will look back.
It came from perhaps higher overhead than you thought. Because if you either look back, you see a humanoid figure. Your best guess would be half ogre. He is very large. He is doing nothing but staring at you too. And right now, Dale, he's picked up his axe and he looks like, well, let's put it this way. He's happy he wouldn't have to be the one to clean the carpet you're on. At this point, the gentleman on the throne speaks. Charles, that's enough. Gentlemen, if you wouldn't mind, there's something we need to discuss.
Okay. Sealangar's
It
just
has
gonna look
come
up
to-
and just stare at him.
Will Dale do the same?
Yeah, I'll look up at this guy. Hell, I'm in enough trouble already. What's a little more?
Excellent. I have your attention now. You two have come to our attention as being some of the less reputable sorts, which is very useful for me in two ways. One, I do not like too many freelancers here in this city. Game is hard enough when you know all the players and all their pieces. So I very much want you out of my fair city. I wouldn't mind you to be I want you out of my county, and I truly would like you out of my nation. So my wishes and your needs coincide beautifully because you need to help me. Because if you enjoy breathing, it's the best way for you to continue to do so. And at this point, well, it works so much better when a large chest, you see the archmage, just flick his wrist, and on the floor in front of you, on what would be a large chest. It's of a pale white, you're not sure whether it's wood or a carved stone. It's one of those you would have to look at it more closely. The first thing that strikes you is all around its sides are small engravings of armored figures. And they appear to be of, well, at least all the core races and some others that again, it'll take a little more time to determine. Thank you, Magister. This is a chest. It contains an item that needs to go somewhere. It's a simple job, really. You're going to take it there for me. Now, just to make sure that you understand the importance of doing this for me, may I introduce my court artificer, Dwalin, and the gnome twists the device he's been playing with a couple of different directions, puts it in one of the pockets of his voluminous overcoat, and pulls out another item, and it's a large, basically a collar for a medium-sized person. It's metallic, kind of has a brass and copper and white metal, various pieces of it. And there are a few lightly glowing sigils on it. The artificer's work and the powers of the Magister, we were able to recreate something from our country's past, or shall we say repurpose it. Being foreigners, you may not know the sad history of our great nation, but there was a gentleman known as the Whispering Tyrant. One of the things he used to occasionally encourage compliance were collars to, how shall we say it, make people understand that being uncooperative was a very bad idea. So, based off of designs, these two fine gentlemen here have combined their crafts to create something that mimics. You see, unlike the tyrant's devices, these can only be activated within the distance of a mile, which is why that device that you need to retain within a mile is in this chest. And because I know you two both, based on your immediate actions, we're seriously thinking about trying to run away, which in your position was a very reasonable idea. Well, here's what will happen if you try to physically remove the collar. Artificer, you look and the gnome just slightly twists the collar, and a series of 4 blades move through the center with a great amount of force. It's pretty clear that if you had been in there, it would be easy to take the collar off now because the little bumpy thing on top of it would not be there.
And this is why Jason told us in
imagine
the Discord to keep our next slot open when buying gear.
I would have felt so bad if I, made y'all give up an amulet of something or other to have the death trap mounted around your neck.
Mm.
And he continues. And in case you think that magical means are perhaps a better way to remove this, Magister, if you would, please. The Magister again flicks his fingers and floats the collar to a point above the box in front of the two of you. Moves his other hand, and there's a glow around the object. You would assume it's some sort of magical dispel or something along that line to disable it. The room erupts in a bright flash of light. Let's see. I hadn't thought about that, but Okay. Neither of you lose facial hair or eyebrows from the heat of the flash that passes over you. It's like a lightning bolt struck right there, right then. And as everyone shakes their head and the ringing goes away. So, gentlemen, let me belabor the point. These are not coming off either until the person with the key takes them off, who happens to be the person you're delivering this to, or you die. So, as I said, I have a simple job for you. Do you agree to take this job, or do I find someone else? Tommy, how is
Silumgar is coming back.
Lumgar?
Silumgar will do what he has to do to survive, and then he is coming back. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, maybe not next month, but this guy has crossed me. This guy has crossed a servant of the House of the Second Breath, and he will pay with his life. Silumgar is not so stupid as to think he could just rush at him now, especially like from the moment there was like, oh, there's an archmage over there. It was time to stop talking or we will die very fast. But that doesn't mean that this local headman doesn't sleep at some point. This doesn't mean the local headman doesn't let his guard down at some point or another. Then it's a matter of dropping behind him and snapping his neck.
Well, you would know that in this, just given this area, he's probably not going to be the easiest to assassinate because enough people are trying.
That's fair. And Silumgar is definitely able to play the long game. He knows he's powerful now, but he knows like his training is not yet complete. So maybe it's something to come back when he's a little better, certainly when there's not a collar around his neck that's threatening to Paradise Falls him, for lack of a better Fallout 3.
Okay. Just had to look up something that looks like might be important for y'all.
Oh, good. How do exploding collars work? Enter.
Oh, no, that one's easy.
Boom.
That's GM snaps fingers, party dies.
Rocks fall. This time they explode.
Okay, and Josh, how is Dale feeling about the fact that he's been made an offer that is possibly once in a lifetime?
Well, Dale figures he's already in enough trouble as it is. So he doesn't mind that he's got to be put under a collar and have the threat of his head getting chopped off. He totally does not know about that movie Wild Wild West for the spinning blades and such, but he does know that if there's a big enough reward, he'd like to grab it so he can get the people he's running from off his back, and then maybe at some point he'll pay the Archmage a visit again, and in the name of Norgorber, give him a little bit of frontier justice.
And suddenly we all have to write Ross, our normal Tuesday GM, a very long letter about how there's a new campaign where we're going to assassinate these people.
I will say I wasn't quite as prepared for the, okay, we're fine with this, but we're coming back to kill you.
Lawful evil is as lawful evil does, Mama used to say.
That works greatly. So at this point, you two are now happily outside the beautifully appointed city hall of Caliphus, looking at the large chest that is between the two of you. It's a large chest. It's not one you're going to be able to carry even with the two of you the entire way to by the way, I forgot to tell you where this is going. So after you have shown that you have preservation instinct and that you are delighted to join his quest to move this box where it needs to go. Oh, and he did let you know one other thing. The spell that connects, he says he doesn't really truly understand all the ins and outs. He'd ask the Magister to explain it to you, but then his head would hurt again, and it's just not worth it. But needless to say, after 30 days, the spell that convinces the callers that they're close enough to the box not to go and do something rather gruesome runs out. You have 30 days to deliver this box, this chest, to a good friend of his at Castle Conquest, which is on the northern border of Ustalov, just shy of the World Wound.
Okay. For like half a second, I thought you were going to say we had 30 days to get it to Absalom, in which case I might have freaked out a little, but at least that's in counting. No. That's good.
I wasn't trying to be absolutely impossible.
Good.
But given the distance, I do think that it may not be as easy to get there. It's not something you're going to have excess amount of time for.
Okay, that makes sense.
Unless things go better than I thought, which, hey, they always could.
Yeah.
Optimism. It's a great thing for parties to have.
Yeah.
It makes the evil... the offline comments about if there's a nuclear-powered DeLorean we can borrow do make me feel better. Okay, so you've been given the information and the quest. This needs to go to the Senior Knight Castellan at Castle Conquest. And you have 30 days to get it there. So after you provide the needed assurances that you do understand and you do like living, and you would be happy to move this there for him, and he says you will be properly rewarded for this. He mentions that other people will be interested in this, and that's why a group of paladins and a cleric of Abadar and a caravan will be leaving 2 days from now, heading towards Lastwall and Vigil, which he says will draw the attention of the people who are interested in what's in the box. Oh, he does say that it should provide some protection against magical scrying and other things. It gets all boring and tedious over time. Statement, not yours. But yes, so he mentions that a well-publicized sending of an artifact is happening going towards Vigil in 2 days. So now you are outside the keep. You have been released from everything but the collar. What do you're standing there with a chest in between the two of you. What would you like to do?
Well, we're going to need to get a cart or something to hold this thing, because I ain't going to be able to carry this darn thing forever all the way to where we're going.
I do not think either of us are. You are from here, yes? What is the fastest way to this castle?
I'm not from here.
Closer than I.
We throw enough money at somebody, they'll give us a horse.
I think we'll need more than a horse. Alrighty, here is... what check to make? Actually, I am trained in lore. I am expert in lore Underworld. So, here's a lore Underworld check to recall knowledge. I would like to know if I guess I haven't met anybody, but are there perhaps rumors or anything of like some kind of underground something or another guild that might be able to help us move this thing a little quicker? Dirty 20.
Okay, so you were looking for what specifically? Any underworld guild?
Something like that, like a thieves guild, a smugglers guild, any kind of group of individuals that might be able to help us move this quickly and quietly.
You, with that, you've heard that I'm probably going to say it improperly, the Espis Consortium.
That's much better of a way to say it than the way it looks like it's pronounced. So,
yes, the Espis Consortium does have operations here. You could pursue that. It is known that there's a good bit of smuggling that occurs here in Avalon Bay. And just given Ustalov's issues, there are definitely thieves, cutthroats. You think you might even be able to find a person, if you looked hard enough, with some association with the what did you call it? The House of the Second?
The House of the... Oh, I have a lot of Rixasha Immortal tabs open right now. Yeah. The House of the Second Breath.
The Second Breath. Second Wind sounds so, it seems to mean something else. But if you looked hard enough, you might be able to find one of them, but it would be looking for some of the emergency markers as opposed to a standard, for the general purposes, you would end up being contacted in a manner as opposed to necessarily. This would be like using an emergency protocol to find someone.
Okay.
Because they definitely have people in the major cities all throughout Avestan. But, you don't necessarily want to use a sleeper cell for everything. So the operational, you could, it's going to be a question of how hard you want to pursue that.
That makes sense. Okay, so leaning over to Dale, just, I love you, Stunny. What do you think we should do?
Well, if you think that you can find an organization to help you out that you're tied with, that sounds good enough for me. Otherwise, I'm going to go find somebody that has a card and buy it from them.
Not the bad way to think
Also,
about it.
also, don't you have any way that we can cover up these callers so the random Joe Schmo doesn't see them?
Sealingar will pull his hood up. Unfortunately, I
Yeah,
am not as magic as I could be.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same. Hopefully, that's enough.
These sit low enough that a simple scarf would easily cover it. They're not big chunk, 1 inch thick by 3 inches tall. They're rather they're surprisingly small for such an effective killing device.
Fair enough. Okay.
Hey, Dale, could you roll me a knowledge society?
Sealingar has that trained as well.
When you start thinking about, as you're going through, you're thinking about, oh, I could find this, I can find this. A certain person pops to mind. In that you know someone who's in the local smuggling scene. In fact, you talked to him about a week ago, and y'all were on pretty good terms.
Well, I would certainly like to go to this person.
You have a friend here?
Oh, I do. I met him last week. We did some business together. It actually worked out well for a change. And I think if I talk to him, we might be able to find a way to carry an item, this chest over, and make it easier on our backs.
Fair point. How do we get it to him? Do you even know where he is, Avistani?
Well, not exactly. I haven't seen him since last week, but I think if we just put up some kind of note, so to just let it be known that we need a cart, when he tends to deal in the kind of things that I don't. He tends to sell the kind of things that I don't. Little birdie might get the message to him and he might find us.
In case y'all are wondering, the chest itself weighs about 65, 70 pounds.
Ugh.
Between the two of you, it's movable. It's not so heavy you can't move it. It's just that it's not going to be fun trying to trek it up the hundreds of miles between you and the Castle Conquest.
Now that is the best plot device to use against a group of all rogues who certainly will have dumped their strengths. I just have to say. I don't think it was intentional, but well done.
Yes, and it's not the fastest way to get it to where we're going either, and that's imperative.
I see. Perhaps I should watch the box while you go and find your friend.
Yes, watch it very carefully. So So I would like to go write a note and basically put it up on a bulletin board or something, asking for anyone who has a cart to sell.
Well, it's at this point it is daylight has broken. It's about 6:37 in the morning. So it's light enough. If you went down to the market, you probably would be able to find a cart, at least for rent.
All right, so I'll head down to the market. I would figure that's where a bulletin board would be anyway, is down at the market.
This is where I really wish I had been able to find a map of the city, because here, I'm just gonna...
You can describe it. It's all good.
Well, the key here is distance.
Fair.
Okay. The outskirts of the main market, and just to let y'all know, so you don't think I'm just, being person, which I am, but, as a GM, that's a little different. Rolled a D4 and was considering each a half-mile increment. So y'all are about a mile from the edge of the market, the main market in town. So watch your plan. You're going to go down into the market, mingle around, try to find something, while Silumgar sits on the box up near it there at the castle.
That doesn't sound like the worst idea in the world.
Yeah, I'm going to head down to the market. I'll tell him I'll be back in a couple hours.
Will you please roll me an intelligence check?
To determine that it's not smart to split the party. Sorry, had to do it.
Actually, if you'd roll an intelligence check too, that would be...
Alrighty. D20 plus... Oh, what's my int? +1. Alright. We did it. Yeah! I got the same thing.
Oh.
We're both not the brightest.
Okay. Note to anyone who is DMing for the first time in a long time, there are those situations where a perfectly reasonable thing may get your players killed, but it's in a way that probably wouldn't be fun. So sometimes you put your thumb on the scale to kind of help. So Dale, as you walk off, you kind of look down and you're able to see the market, and it's about a mile away. Remember, your leash, the point at which your collar decides, oh, you've run away and abandoned the box, extends about a mile.
Oh yeah, that's right. Thanks for not killing us dead, Jason. Let's instead move the box perhaps I don't know, closer to the market in such a way that Josh doesn't die a horrible death.
It's just one of those things. The first section was basically a getting to know you.
Getting to know you.
It's bad. I didn't want one of you to die, that easily.
Just on the spot. Okay, in that case, as we quickly just... Wait a minute. Do not do that. You will die. I'm gonna make a perception check. I want to look around and see if I can find any kind of anything that looks sturdy enough Maybe not necessarily complete with horse, but some kind of cart that we could perhaps like a hand cart that we could pull behind us that we could move this thing without having to lug it like furniture all day. 22.
Uh, yes, as a matter of fact, you see a uh, gentleman starting to walk down to the car towards the market with a fruit cart. Has a set of wheels on the front, and think of it as a large walker, like you will see certain people use.
I was gonna say that's
Except,
usually a jab at you.
yeah, youngins. But yeah, it's it's kind of like you would in larger cities in America, it'd be like a hot dog cart, little portable food cart thing where people sell food on the street.
Okay.
And as this guy is walking out the front door, he's telling his wife, the woman upstairs who's politely encouraging him to get a move on, that the sun's already up and he should have gotten the fruit and already be off out to sell it to those going to their work. He says, yes, I'm going. You do notice that the cart is empty at this point.
Okay. In that case, Selimgar is going to quickly, like, his hair is real, like, it's very Vudrani. He has basically a mohawk, but like not whoop up, just shaved on the sides and then braided down the back. And then just kind of quickly muss that up real quick and muss his clothes up and run up to the man and just, sir, please, I need your help.
Yes.
My associate and I, we have this cart. Or no, we do not. My associate and I, we have this box, and it is too heavy for us to carry. And our master, he's waiting for us in the market district, and if we do not get it there soon, oh, we are going to feel the lash again. Will you please help us?
Yeah, I gotta get going.
Right.
And he
So while
picks up.
he's talking to my friend here, I'd like to do a check on thievery to just take the cart while he's distracted.
That's a heck of a pickpocket.
Okay, so here's my thievery roll.
Okay. Given that the man has his hand on one of the handles of the cart, I'm going to call that a failure, but not a critical failure.
Okay. Is it possible, if Selimgar sees this happening, is it possible to, like, just please, no, we need your help, and, like, get my hands on his shoulders and, like, not, like, to shake him to death, but, like, shake him enough that he's paying attention to me and just cause a distraction so he doesn't see that happen?
Okay. Okay. What effect are you looking for? Are you looking to distract him so he does not notice that the other guy tried to steal his cart? Or enough for the other guy to steal the cart?
Enough so that he doesn't notice it. Because, like, if Dale were to actually steal the cart and abscond with it, this guy would eventually, probably pretty quickly, realize that his cart is no longer there.
Okay, I will call that. He's going to have so okay, we'll run this as an opposed. He's a commoner, so
Okay. Do you just want me to throw a d20 at the board?
Yeah, throw a d20 at the board.
Deal.
Yep, you managed to distract him just fine.
Okay. And so as I'm shaking, I'm just, please, sir, please. We must go quickly.
Look, y'all are kind of freaking me out here.
I like to go ahead and try to sweet talk him out of this cart with a diplomacy check.
Just quickly pivots to just give us the card. I mean, that was a pretty good one. If the DC is 17, that's a critical success. Okay, yeah, sure. You know what? I will run with it. I would like to aid him. I add a +6. Just, yes, please, sir. We will simply bring the cart back when we are done. I am sorry to have freaked you out. It's just the master's whip. It does not feel good. I'm pretty sure a 13 is enough to push that 27 to a 29.
Okay. Sorry, thinking through the DC in my brain.
That's fair.
This is, he's not the brightest guy in the world, but this is how he makes his income. So I would say he's very unwilling to just let y'all have the cart. So that's...
Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
Well, let us have the cart. Can't be distracted.
I know. Okay. Y'all puts his hands up and said, look, I got to go down there anyway. Tell you what, load your thingy on here. Yeah, it's not. How heavy is the thing?
It's so heavy we cannot carry it ourselves. Must be at least 70 pounds.
Y'all can't carry 70 pounds. When you look at him, you realize that it's not so much puffy clothing as he has more muscle than you would have thought.
We cannot. Master does not feed us very well.
So that's a shame. People shouldn't do that. Tell you what, put it on the cart. We'll get down to the market. But once I get there, I got to get my stock, and I definitely have to be where I can get to people for the lunch rush. And it takes a while to push this thing back uphill.
Of course. We understand. We simply must get closer to the market. We can, since we are so far away now, if we can get it closer, perhaps we can find someone else. Perhaps maybe even our master can meet us somewhere. It's just anything is better than here right now.
Sure. Y'all put it on and let's go.
Okay. I will
down.
Try to grab that thing.
Besides, downhill's the easy part, he says.
As it would be.
It should fit very easily. Anything in particular y'all plan to do on the way down to the market?
Not I. Just look as meek as possible so this dude doesn't get the hint that he's actually got a trained assassin riding on his cart.
Yeah, same here. We got what we wanted.
I think you'll misunderstand what type of cart this is.
Yeah, I say ride on cart. I don't mean like actually sit on it. We'd walk beside.
Yeah.
Should have
Yeah.
played a halfling.
Yeah. Yeah. On screen, for anyone who cares to see absolutely terrible art taking place, kind of the way one of these carts works. There's a spoked wheel in the front, kind of a box main section, and a canopy on the top. And any player character who laughs immediately gets smoked.
I'm actually not sure where it is. I'm scrolling around so we can show people on the internet.
If you look for the on the map of the, which has the, if you look down where it has the words for last wall, underneath the, let me.
We actually, if you want to put us on that map, what you would need to do is go to the map tab and then where that little flag that says players, drag us over to it. Because otherwise we don't see it, because we're still on the other page. Teaching our friends how to roll 20. Yeah, we see it. Oh my.
Okay, now that makes much more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because that also, I popped up that map with the picture of the halfling smuggler friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering why Dale didn't get the hint.
And now we know.
But yes, this terrible bad rendition down here at the bottom.
Flawless. Best.
I would call it many things, but best is not one of them.
Fair enough.
So,
and we can also see where Castle Cronquist is.
We certainly can.
Yes.
We have a very long journey.
Yes. And unfortunately, this map, as opposed to the one I thought I had pulled in, does not have the proper scale to it. But I seem to remember thinking it was about 300 to 350 miles.
That sounds about right.
So, Dale, what are you doing as you're going down towards the market? Anything in particular?
Yeah, I would like to just do a perception check to see if I find anybody with a cart.
Oh,
so we can quickly pivot to a different cart from this cart.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. It gets down to where the train begins to flatten out. And you're not far from you're just on the outskirts of the marketplace. And as you're walking by, you see a drayage company, which has listed on the side that it has various carts and horses for sale.
Might not be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I would like to go to one of them and ask them, hey, we need a cart. And Bad, we're borrowing this one from this person here, but he's only letting us use it till we get to the market proper, and we need one to go a lot farther than that.
That when you see this establishment, you ask him, and he will stop. Y'all unload the cart, and he will go off after his supplies to the various bakers and cheese merchants and everyone else, so he can back up towards the castle district.
Okay. Works for
So
me.
yeah, so y'all are just on the edge of the market. From here you could wander the market and you'd be fine. You feel like you would still be within a mile of the box anywhere in the main market.
Okay, so in that case, looking over at Dale, just, Avistani, go and find your friend. Do you have any gold? I will handle the purchasing of the horse. Purchasing of the cars.
Yeah, I've got enough gold there to get what we need. So let me try to find my friend.
Okay, so I will take Dale's gold and go into the building. And what is the going rate for a horse and cart?
Well, and of course they've moved where that is.
Thanks, Paizo.
Here we go. Okay, I'm going to say that it would be roughly the same as a riding horse for I'll give it a little bit of a kick up. A good draft horse. Well, okay. Here, the price for a cart is going to be. Do you want a two-wheeled cart or a four-wheeled carriage? Do you want a passenger carriage or a cart?
Just a cart. Just enough where we can put the box in the cart and have a horse pull the cart.
Oh, okay. That you can do with you could do with a horse or a pony.
Whichever's cheaper. I imagine both can pull just fine.
Yeah. A riding pony, I'll say, is the standard rate, 65 silver.
Okay. In that case, I will. 65 silver is acceptable. Let me confer with my associate, see what his plans are, and then I'm going to go. I guess we'll have the box just like outside this place, as if we're like waiting to load it in a cart, and Selimgar is just gonna sit on top of it and wait on Avistani to return, because like the chance exists that he could get a better deal, and I'd rather not just blow our money for nothing, or we might end up going by boat or something.
And the other thing I would say is a cart that would be reasonable to use with a pony will cost you let's call it 35. Nice makes it
number.
A nice 100 silver.
Okay, so a nice quick 10 gold investment, which we can afford.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
So I'm gonna roll a society check to see if anybody knows where my friend might be.
You remember that he tends to hang out on the waterfront in the dock district, and it's about the same distance there to be there as it's a quarter to a half a mile. You feel you could easily get down into that area without much worry. You know, the main market isn't going to be too far from the docks.
Frankly, talking to Similgar, Well, we just paid the 10 gold to get out of here because the more time we spend trying to find a better deal, that's time we aren't traveling and we are on a clock.
Fair point. Do you not want to wait until the eyes of everyone else are turned towards Vigil?
Look, if anybody messes with us, we can deal with it. But we're on a clock, man.
So be it. Okay, in that case, I will go pay the 10 gold, and we will, I suppose, load the cart up and start heading out towards the, the north gate, heading towards Castle Cronquist.
Rats. I don't have that in front of me. Do you have what is it I'm trying to think of? Knowledge nature or handle animal?
Yep, I can control the mount with nature. Boom. 16.
Okay. After they get the tack on the pony and you start to, you realize that you've got a fairly good pony. He's not, I wouldn't say he's an expert pony, but he's
trained.
He's a good, solid pony. It's obvious he has worked as a draft animal in the past. So, but it doesn't look like he's been neglected or abused.
Now, one thing we want to make sure to get, Simulgur, before we leave, is we might want to make sure we've got enough food to feed this pony and ourselves for this trip, because we're going to be gone a while.
My name is pronounced Siwingar Avistani. I can subsist on very little. I imagine, does paying for the tack for the pony, does that also cover, its meals and stuff?
No, the tack is would be the harness.
Okay, fair enough.
That connects the cart to the pony. Okay.
Do they sell feed for it? Under cost of living, you might run off that for, to subsist for a week is 4 silver. To subsist for a month is 2 gold. And if we buy a month's worth of feed for this thing, that's probably more than enough.
All right, so let's spend 5 gold. That'll get enough food for the pony, enough food for me, and enough food for you.
I agree.
Okay. Not a problem. Is there anything else y'all want to get here? This is a market in a major city. So they will have just about anything that's not super weird.
Fair enough.
Well, let's get the usual things. Rope, perhaps some items to equip ourselves with so we're better defended.
You might want to look into a scarf, Avistani. You are wearing a beautiful bangle. My plan is to just sell it off as, a little bit of fashion to remind me of Vudra.
All right, so the 2 things I'm going to do then with my remaining 60 gold is I want to see how much Ring of Protection is.
Ring of Protection no longer exists. At this point, in the Pathfinder playtest, the shield has become the Ring of Protection. Without enough general feats, a fool, have not taken shield proficiency, and I'm just going to hope I don't die a miserable death for it. As far as all your gear goes, Josh, we don't really have the gold to buy anything else that's super fancy. Because we had 50 gold on top of starting stuff, but 50 gold doesn't really get you much. I have a lot of potency crystals, so I can have my hand wraps be magical when I attack sometimes for resonance, but that's about it.
Okay. So in that case, I'm going to before we leave, I'll say a quick prayer to Norgorber that our travels are a success and we can head off if Silmulgar has nothing else to do.
It is pronounced Silumgar Avistani, and he would just continue to like tug at his collar, just not enough to kill myself horribly, but just like maybe more like just tap on my neck next to it. Just what are you going to do about that? And also, frankly, some rope would not be the worst idea. A couple of tents as well. Yeah, a tent. That way, if we get
what's on my neck, if someone asks about it, I'll tell them it's none of their business.
Just hoping that works for you. Okay, so I'm thinking Silumgar has his thieves' tools bought. So, like, a pup tent and 50 feet of a pup tent's real close quarters, but it'll be fine. A pup tent and 50 feet of silk rope sends us back just shy of 2 gold, which we can afford.
Okay, would y'all have discussed this any before the purchase?
Probably like discussing it, I imagine, in the market after the cart.
Okay. Because if you had decided to get a 4-wheeled wagon, that would give you a call it 8 foot wide and 12 or so foot long covered wagon.
Yeah, that it would. That'd be way more expensive than the pup tent, though, I imagine, and Silumgar would much rather sleep on the ground. Like, if something were to attack the cart in the middle of the night and we, like, wake up flipped over, that doesn't necessarily seem like the best plan. We just, like, unload the cart and put the cart in the pup tent. That's gonna be a very, very crowded tent, but it'll be fine.
Yeah, and it's a lot less noticeable. We aren't going to be drawing as much attention to ourselves.
Perhaps we can park the cart on the side somewhere, covered with some bushes.
Well, there is plenty of rope and sailcloth. You're near, Avalon Bay has quite a bit of river traffic and coming into it. So I would say anything you want, you can get at base price. As if you want anything particularly weird, I'll make a roll, but almost everything should be fairly easy to find and in stock.
Okay, sure. So here, real quick, actually, I imagine it would be a nature check, Jason, to know what kind of terrain we will be traveling through from Califas to Castle Cronquist.
That would work. Geography would work.
Alrighty, so that's all tied up in nature now. It's all tied up in nature. So +7 to recall knowledge. That almost certainly is a fumble at a 9. Oh, good. Well, hang on. I'm going to use I am adopted by halflings at 3rd level because I'm good at optimizing. So I will use Lucky Halfling to re-roll that skill check. Because I would rather not be super unprepared. How about a 21 instead?
21? After thinking about it a moment, people near you hear you mutter on the... No, it is not the world wound. It is short of the world wound.
No demons here.
Okay. That's enough for you to remember that there is a mountain range in the middle of the that goes pretty much through most of the middle of the country, but there are some major rivers that do head north. And if you wanted to go, which could take you closer, there are it's going to be a mix of some, depending on your route. There could be forests, there could be mountain, there's river travel, and there's plains.
Okay. So, follow-up question, because I'm just now remembering we are in Ustalov. How common knowledge is it that there's vampires and zombies and werewolves, oh my, all over the place in the countryside? Do I need to make a roll for that?
I'm going to say because you're from.
Not here. Gotcha. Okay.
I'm gonna pull a. That's not. You're not from around here. Check.
Oh, good. He's 30. Watch out for his livers. I miss Muirden. Okay, so here's a I don't know what check to make. Society check?
History. Do you have history?
In the playtest we have medicine, nature, occultism, performance, religion, and society. Well, performance isn't one of them. Performance is just in alphabetical order.
Yeah. Religion would work.
Okay, can do. That is one of my better ones. Bam! It's a 12. Hey Josh, would you like to make a check to determine how many things of garlic and sun rods and silver sheens we should buy? Because I don't think it's 12.
Yes, I would like that. I don't want to interact with have a close encounter with the furry kind.
I'm sure we're going to. We just need to be able to kill them. But I do not know this. I am from Vudra.
Yeah.
Good,
I was
Josh,
calling.
good.
I'm going to call it a 10 for Josh and a 15 for.
So that means he critically succeeded.
Yeah, I'm getting some good luck right now. That's like 15 plus 3 times in a row or something.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good.
Yeah. I would say with that, you remember a little thing called the reading about something during the reign of the Whispering Tyrant called the Blood Purge, where all the vampires who were not willing to swear loyalty to the Whispering Tyrant, he tried to kill all of them. And he didn't. Some of them were driven into the, I believe it's the forest near Varno region, but I'll have to double check that.
I think that's right.
In the southeast of the country. So
looks like our path takes
yes.
us pretty close to there.
Yes, you do know that there are various bad and other things that might decide to eat you on the way.
So then the question is, how much does it cost to silver our weapons?
More than we have, but it's only 2 gold to get silver sheen. That's a one shot, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
You would know. Okay. We might sooner not necessarily be worried about silver sheen. In that case, we might be more concerned with, we have, how much gold did you have to start, Josh?
69, and now I'm down to 58.
Okay, cool. Okay, in that case, we might honestly spend 20 gold, it's probably too much, but 5 each seems like a really good buffer worth of like sun rods. I think a sun rod works as if like it will mess them up. I think. I forget. Never mind. It's normal light that won't mess them up. We don't want that. We want holy water to make them stay dead. We want to not metagame. People are watching this. I need to be a good example. Do you share your knowledge, Josh? That we're gonna run into some vampires?
Absolutely. I tell you, depending on the way we go, we might encounter some furry things and some fangy things that aren't necessarily alive, and we might want some protection against that.
Alright, here's a religion check. Man, okay, never mind. I don't know how to fight vampires with a 12. Maybe the other guy does. He's got half my mod, but he rolls almost double me.
Maybe it's the Norberger angle.
Maybe. Yet again, killing it.
Norgorber's been good to me.
You know, I would say your prayer worked.
Yeah, I would. It was pretty good.
Yes, I feel that you would be safe to use player knowledge to choose reasonable preparations. Not character knowledge, player knowledge. You understood, you know enough. So,
okay.
Because if you know there are vampires, and trying to remember who all Norberger, what his domains are.
He is the god of thieves, basically.
Okay. I forget whether he has any...
To give you a quick rundown, going to him in the book. The god of greed, murder, poison, and secrets has 4 aspects. The ally of poisoners and alchemists, black fingers, the murderous father Skinsaw, the thieving grey mask. So he's basically the assassin god. I don't think he has any particular affinity with like vampires or anything.
But yeah, if this is a god who helps people who kill things, so I don't see it unreasonable that you would have heard, oh yeah, by the way, there are these things called vampires. And if you ever, so you should be able to work out from the old stories maybe an idea of weaknesses.
Okay. So mechanically in the playtest, that means we're looking at can't voluntarily cross running water, can't enter a home unless invited to do so, so can't come in our tent, haha. Vampire can't be forced to do things. Vampire can't come within 10 feet of garlic or a brandished holy symbol of a non-evil deity. Joke's on you guys. I worship a Rixasha immortal. You worship a neutral evil assassin god. So that plan is out for us.
Well, they can't cross open water, so, if we just stay by the rivers.
You might actually... It dawns on me it might not be the worst idea to go and hang garlic from the cart in such a way that how does that? I forget how that works. It's real good. If the vampire involuntarily comes within 10 feet of an object of its revulsion, it gains the fleeing condition until it ends in action beyond 10 feet, and it can't come. It would stop the vampires from coming within 10 feet of a cart. And boy, do I know someone where I could get some garlic. Yeah. Okay. With that in mind, if Dale shares the information, Silumgar will head back to the restaurant where he's been staying. Because I imagine the local Vudrani restaurant will have a lot of garlic there. That's meta knowledge. But Also, I would now like to go get Indian food. Soon.
You and me both, because my last try at biryani was not as good as I had hoped.
Boo.
But okay. Yes. When you get back to the inn, how do you describe how you enter?
Uh, how long have I been gone? Do I know?
Uh, well, it was dark when you left, and it's light now, so it's at least been one night.
Okay.
But other than that, you're not really sure.
That makes sense. Okay. In that case, I might just walk in like nothing bad happened. Just open the door, step in like I should be there.
Right. As you enter, you see the owner. He's, doing something at his bar counter area. He looks up. Ah, my friend, you're back. I was beginning to worry about you.
Oh, of course not. Do not worry about me. I am right here. I had to leave quickly in the night. There are some matters that needed to be handled. And actually, as it turns out, my friend, an associate of mine and I must leave Caliphas. We must leave soon. We'll be traveling over open country. And I was wondering how much garlic you would be able to part with. You know, with the vampire problem in this area and all.
Oh, yes, yes. Please excuse me. You've been gone 3 days. I was becoming concerned, especially as you left without your sandals, or at least your extra sandals and your bag.
I am sorry, it was abrupt. I did not mean to be gone for this long.
You need not tell me why. I understand. So you say you are leaving town. Are you looking to buy garlic? How much garlic are you thinking? I have a few. I can give you some, but if you're looking for a large amount, I can put you in contact with the person who supplies me.
That may be the best. I am looking for enough garlic to protect myself, one associate, one pony, and a cart from vampires.
Hmm. If uh, uh, you are right, I do not need to know. My wife always tells me I'm far too nosy about these things. Uh, if you go to the docks, go to the pier, there is an old man there. His name is, everyone calls him Merle. And I always buy my spices from him, and he always seems to have a little bit of anything you need. And his prices are normally good. So I would say go there.
Wonderful. Thank you, my friend. And I'll bow and quickly run upstairs, grab the rest of my stuff, and thank you so much for letting me stay here these past few nights. It has been good to stay under the home of one of my countrymen.
May the Master of Masters Hope you learn well on your journey.
Silumgar will bow and out the door in the direction of Merle's place at the docks. Actually, probably reconnoitering with Dale as this all goes on.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go see Merle again. Okay, let's see if he's got some garlic.
He's not the worst idea.
So y'all wander on down to the docks, and you go and see Merle. Hey, I remember you. You're Dale, right?
Yep.
I remember. Have anything new for me?
Actually, I need to get something from you. We're
Oh,
gonna be
do
We're
tell.
gonna be leaving Calipus, myself and my associate here, whose name I can't pronounce, and we may be passing by some furry things and some fangy things that are not necessarily alive, and so we could use some garlic to protect what we're holding and taking out of the city.
Well, far be it from me to ask a question that is impolite, but if you don't mind telling me which direction you're going?
North, as straight and straight north as we can from here to there, A to B. We're going straight north as sure as we can.
Well, let me see. And he looks down into a ledger. Happen to have need of a shipment going to a place called Thrushmore. And it probably would not be far out of your way. Would you be willing to make a little delivery for me on your way north?
Sure, since it's on our way and we're already making the delivery, I suppose another one wouldn't hurt. Note, I'm not asking the other associates' permission.
Yes.
That's in character.
No, yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah. Merle's a good old boy, but he is part of the reason your other friend has a fairly smoothly working operation in this area. I mean, anybody who can look at you and say, I know someone who wants a religious symbol of Rovagug. You know, guy has a little more going on than just you'd think. Yeah. I have two small, they'd be locked chests that would need to be delivered. If y'all don't mind, I can even arrange for a ship to take you up to the mouth of the river. Oh, what's the name of that river right there? It's just right there almost by the town. and they'd be happy to drop y'all off right about there, and you could go into town, meet my my associate, and that might make things work out well for both of us. Uh, you were wanting to purchase?
We need some garlic to protect ourselves
Good
and our
sir,
cargo
we need
from
enough
the
garlic to
things
cover
on the
both of
furry
us,
things.
our pony, and our cart in case of vampire attacks.
Well, garlic I have. Uh, hmm. There's, if y'all are planning on heading north much further, uh, I know a person who sometimes will buy various spices in Hyannis, which he sends them to some place he calls the Monastery of the Veil or something like that. Uh, if y'all are heading north that far, uh, he probably would buy anything like that. So let me make y'all a deal. I will. Did I hear y'all had a horse outside or a pony?
Yes, we have a pony, sir.
Okay. Oh, and you said something about a cart for the.
That is correct.
Tell you what. Deliver my goods to my agent in Thrushmore. And I'll send a gentleman with y'all just to make sure and he can identify the person. But I know you deal by reputation. And I an extra hand is always good to have around, and it also prevents any misunderstandings about delivery. So I'll pay for your passage up there, and I'll throw in, call it, shoot, those need to go anyway. 50 pounds of garlic and call it 10 pounds in other spices. Because if y'all are heading that way, up that way very far, be able to get some good out of them. And frankly, it's stuff that just doesn't have that big a profit potential here, but it's not worth for me to ship it up there myself. Do
I
we
would
have a
certainly
deal?
accept. Of course.
I shake his hand and say, thank you, sir, and we won't let you down. We will deliver the goods you gave us, and you're doing us a big favor.
Now, I will say this. In the past, I've heard that some of your ventures did not go as well as planned. So I am taking a little risk on you. But this for me, definitely look me up next time you're in town. And you know what? Ship will leave at the second watch after nightfall. So be here. And I also have a letter. So if you could swing by here about the same time. Come here before you go to the boat. I'll have a letter for you to take to my factor as well. And he may be able to help speed you on his way a little.
But we would certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, it sounds good. Sounds very good. And plus, besides, we're heading north. My bad deals went south. So we're going the opposite direction this time.
So here's a fun question. I'm looking in the rule book and I don't see any like rules as written for how this happens, but both Dale and Silumgar are evil characters without a good aura who don't cast good divine spells. Jason, what happens if say, like, I buy a holy symbol of Saren Ray and carry it around and try to present it at a vampire? Will it still function? Will it cause me to ignite and throw up blood everywhere?
Okay.
The parable about the guys tried to, in the Book of Acts, tried to imitate the miracles of they come to mind, and the seven sons of Sceva, and comes to mind on that one.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, and I would say that if it was power, it was a highly consecrated item enough that it was going to a vampire, you're probably not going to be comfortable touching it.
Fair. Okay. Makes sense to me.
So, but something like, say, holy water,
okay,
is not something you're going to touch. So it would be inside the vial inside. So, and again, I wouldn't say that it's going to be I wouldn't say it would be a massive problem for you. It would just be
I wouldn't burn
rather
my hand.
uncomfortable.
Okay, fair enough.
You're not going to burst into flames, but it's definitely not something you're going to do willingly. You're going to have to, I would say you need to make a will 10 check.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, since garlic has basically the same effect, I think we're fine there, but I would think that perhaps we might pick up... Oh, how much gold do we have left, Josh?
Well, it depends on how much we spent on the garlic.
I believe he's giving that to us for free in exchange for...
That's your payment for trafficking his goods north.
Okay, well, in that case, we have 58 gold left.
Yeah, we got a lot of gold. Okay. I might suggest holy water, which is 2 gold apiece.
And that's just my gold is 58.
Yeah, I have none. I burnt out all of my gold to gear out, which may have been a mistake. Oh well. So we've got 2 gold is holy water. Pythons are a copper. So if we drop a silver, we'll have 10 pythons, which will both be enough for us low strength characters to climb much more effectively, but also like they'll function as a stake.
And this time I get to correct your pronunciation. It's Piton.
Oh.
I know because I used to do a little technical climbing.
Fair enough. I've always heard Python. Piton. Got it. I will bear that in mind. I will be very mad at Kane next time I speak to him. Alrighty, so now we need... probably wouldn't be the worst idea in the world to pick up... Well, actually, let me just look at its stats. We have player knowledge. Yeah, some silver sheen. Holy water, silver sheen, pitons. Did it. And I think we're good after that. I don't necessarily say burn all our gold out, but enough to where we're very comfortable in case we have to fight a lot of them.
Okay, so after buying some holy water and pitons,
Holy water is 2
And-
gold apiece. Pitons are 1 copper apiece. Silver sheen, which only goes for 1 attack, I'm pretty sure. So that might be one that we have more of. Because the holy water, we just stake him when he's down, then cut off their head, and then there you go. Silver sheen is
It's
also
not
2
quite-
gold.
Not quite spot remover, but
Close.
for those of you who've been watching the Intrigue game,
It has been good. I am definitely getting some back, like, okay, yep, gotta do this. I know how this works. Here we go. The fun part, actually, it's super meta, but let's not buy a lot of silver sheens yet. You know why? Levi's playing an alchemist. He can give us silver sheens without us burning through our resonance to use them. That would be good. Thanks, Levi. I'm glad I caught myself there. Okay, so we have like 50 gold left to play with. What else do we need? Do you feel like we're missing anything, Josh?
well, here's my list of what we got as far as that. I bought 10 pitons, 5 holy water, 5 silver sheen. Or are we skipping on the silver sheen entirely?
We can skip on the silver sheen because Levi's alchemist can just hook us up.
Okay, so that leaves us with 43 gold.
Okay. Well, we could buy some traps. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Like for when we make camp. Wild animals try to sneak up on the camp. Instead, they hit an alarm, which it's only 2 gold for an alarm. And I imagine we can both set them up. Just set a couple around the camp, and then it trips it, and the snare goes off. Could do the same for like a bear trap, which I don't see anything that really functions as. Other than that, I think we're basically set up. Just you want to like at this point, it's all extra. Just flipping through like the items and stuff and seeing what we don't have or what like we could play around with now. We could. That's for.
Just because I'm a thief, can I get some thief tools?
Yeah, please do.
Oh.
Very important.
Um,
We cannot pick locks without them.
okay.
How much are thieving tools?
I feel like that's something we'll have to pay extra for because we'll have to go to the black market.
Let's see.
25 gold to get you expert
As
thieves
I-
tools.
Blaze it.
Now,
25?
next question. Who do you,
Well, the thing is, I already have expert in thievery.
are you, yes, but the tools are required for some checks.
Mm-hmm.
Is the
And it's
issue.
an item bonus which you would add as well. So expert thieves tools would give you a +1 on top of the expert proficiency in thievery you already have. Which seems real good.
And what I would say,
Well, I put my thieves check to a +11.
What were you going to say, Jason?
my next statement on that would be, is there anyone in particular you would ask about thieves tools? Are you just going to
Just
try
wander
to
through
find
town looking to steal your stuff.
Well, I mean, didn't we pass by the Thieves Guild?
I would ask Merle if I were you.
Okay, I'll ask Merle. Merle, do you one more thing while I'm thinking about it. Do you know anybody that's got any spare thieves tools in case opportunity comes up?
Not spare, but I know someone who doesn't need a set anymore. Wait here a second. And he goes in the back. You hear some rumbling, some things being shifted and moved around. And he comes back with a small package wrapped in with cloth over it. It appears to be a roll. And he puts it on the counter in front of you and takes the outer cloth off. In front of you is, are you familiar with a tool roll? It's a section of fabric.
Yeah, you just roll it out and blah, blah.
Yeah. And as you do that, you see that the leather that it's made of is stained heavily. Give me a perception check.
I think somebody might have got killed. 25. Thanks, Norderberg.
You can still you smell the blood, and it doesn't smell all that old.
Well, Merle, I would say these items have quite a bit of story to them. Like, look at him long enough to get his eye and then look at the blood as I'm saying everything I say.
I'm not going to ask any questions. I'm just going to, besides, how much gold do we owe you for that?
I am simply curious. Holding my hands up.
Well, let me tell you what. Call it 23 gold and you take them with you.
Oh,
I
my.
wouldn't try to sell them anywhere nearby. Someone might recognize them and draw the wrong conclusion, of course.
23 gold. Okay. I'm gonna.
They're 250, right?
They're 250 silver. Oh,
Yeah,
yes, you're right. You're so right. Fair enough. I'm not used to having to convert it. I'm bad at this. You're right. I'm wrong. We're getting a discount. That's even better. Good.
They really are good.
They are.
And
That leaves us with 20 gold left.
Okay.
So that was a deal.
I shake his hand.
He rolls them back up. He rolls it back up. You notice he is very carefully not touching any of the tools. Does the hair, hands it to you.
I should probably do a perception check to see if I notice that.
He's not hiding it, so yeah, you would notice.
I make a mental note then.
Do you say anything about it?
I say, assume there's a reason you're very careful not touching them, and I'm going to do likewise because I'm not dumb.
There's nothing wrong with them. You have my word on that.
Oh, I wasn't thinking there was. Just there might just being careful how we handle them, so that way they stay that way.
Okay.
The person these belong to broke the thieves' code. And I don't want nothing to do with them. So they are yours.
Sealimgar will just nod.
Done and done. And I will see y'all before your trip.
Yeah, we might also learning from my Three Dragons party, we might pick up a compass as well in case we get super turned around somewhere. Other than that, I really don't see anything we're just dying for.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're good. Compass is a good idea.
10 silver, we can't get lost. We know we're going away at points.
About this time, it's time for an evening meal. Do y'all head towards an inn or anything like that? Or y'all pick up something?
Well, Lavistani, do you know anywhere to eat in this town?
No, again, I mean, that restaurant that you were at.
How do you feel about spicy food?
Any food sounds good to me right about now.
Oh, good. And I will take him to the inn where the other Vudrani are.
The innkeeper is very happy to see you. A little bit, not sure why you're back this soon, but again, it is not something I need to know, but what can I do for you?
Well, my friend is very hungry, you see.
Ah, yes. Is he familiar with our style of food, or does he wish something more local?
He does say he can tolerate spicy. And a wink.
Yes, and I tell you what, I'm going to be real familiar with your food here in a second. My face is going to be real familiar with it.
Very well, my friend.
Can I throw a persuasion check his way? Just a diplomacy check his way.
You can if you want to.
I would love to.
Okay.
And I'm crossing my fingers because usually when I do something like this, it blows up in my face.
Oh, good.
Very interesting you chose that description.
Oh, yeah, God.
Oh, yeah. You convinced him. Blow up in your face wouldn't be the proper term. Burn your face off from the inside, yes. Because you just convinced him you don't like spicy food. You live for spicy food. So he is going to spice your food like he does for his 75-year-old grandmother, who no longer has taste buds. So, wonderful food. It is just rip your face off hot. As you're about halfway through, perception checks.
Yep. Boom. 18.
You hear the door of the inn open, and because of where you're seated, you look up and you see the half ogre you saw earlier. He doesn't have a great axe at the moment. He just has a great sword strapped over his back as he shoehorns his way in through the door. Because being half, he's only about 8 foot. He looks around and comes over towards you two. What do you do?
I will put my hands under the table and go into wolf style.
I am going to throw a diplomacy check at him and offer him some of my super spicy food that I've only half finished.
I'm going to make a deception check. I want him to think that I am not actively getting ready to pounce on him if it goes bad. 18. Could be better, could be worse.
As you look up and offer him some, say you need to try this, he looks up, waves to the owner, and says, "Usual." The owner nods his head and goes to tell the kitchen staff. Said, he looks at you two and says, "Yeah. Wanted to, boss doesn't always think of things up front. So he forgot to tell me to give you this." And he lays a small purse on the table in front of you. Might be useful. And
I will unwolf
after
style under the table. Obviously, he's not here to cause trouble.
And after I leave here, or after I leave this table, I don't know you.
I will nod.
Understood.
Nod. Take the purse.
Good. And he walks over to one of the corners, and you now realize that that wasn't a table and a bench. It was a high table and bench. It was a table sized for him. So he has, yes, through the magic of the internet. But you now realize that that place in the corner wasn't just something weird, wasn't a small weird family table. It was a table built specifically for this guy. So you know that it's good food.
Fair enough.
And depending on how long if it takes y'all more than like 15 minutes, you will smell his coming out. Just from the difference in color and smell, you realize you got the weak version.
Oof.
There's a chance that you might suffer damage if you ate what he's eating.
And now we've learned that we are weak. Okay, so I'm gonna open the purse real quick since we're sitting at the 3-hour mark and we'll be signing off soon probably, but just kind of pop the purse open. What's in the purse?
In the purse is 30 gold.
Nice. 15 gold apiece. Well, we can just put it back in party gold, I guess, because 15 gold won't buy anyone anything.
Yeah. Well, is there a Reed Talden?
I'm sorry?
Read, y'all both read common.
Yes.
correct?
Yes, I do. Yep. Kanan,
Inside
Vujrani,
there-
Necrol, and
Inside
Infernal
there-
are the languages I took.
In a very neat hand, you read for travel expenses
So just like under
on
my
a
breath,
small scrap of paper in it.
so just under my breath as I say, just perhaps his death will be less painful than I had imagined.
And with that,
I just speak common and Kellish.
Yeah, I took one of my skill feats was multilingual, and I took that so I could grab 2 more languages because it feels really flavorful for the guy who's trained in where the Rixasha live and who is based off the undead masters of Tarkir to be able to both speak to the undead and speak to infernals. And since we're in Ustalav, I imagine Necro might actually get some mileage.
it may.
Woo. But in any case, this is probably a good place to sign off.
So the plan is, after that, nothing significant happens, and you show up at Merle's a little before the second bell of the evening, so you can pick up his letter and be on your way.
All right.
Absolutely.
Sounds
We
good
are
to me.
on our way.
On our way.
Excellent.
Alrighty, well, thank you guys so much for watching on Twitch and YouTube. And again, thank you to Jason for just out of nowhere. Never GM'd on Roll20, hasn't GM'd since I was in junior high. I'm 27. Stepping up to the plate so we'd have a game for a couple weeks. And so, frankly, they would have something to do on Christmas besides listening to the cat behind me at the door scritching for food. I also am hungry. And be sure to like and subscribe for more videos. We'll be back for the next session of... I don't remember what we're calling this game.
A simple job.
A simple job next Tuesday. Say bye, guys.
Bye.
Later, guys.